Right. Well, hello and welcome to the FilmSoc Livestream. This is our first one in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been a while. New theme today are then all of the news and rumors that we've missed out on over the last wee while. And we're just going to go through it. Hopefully Devon will be able to join us later on, but I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves with a film they watched this week. So I'm your host Peter, and I watched Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, what a good film! I haven't seen that in years. I'm Kat, and the most recent film that I watched was Legally Blonde.
I'm George, and the last film I watched was Isle of Dogs.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Really?
Very
Wes Anderson.
Oh, I can imagine. I meant to when it was like being advertised and all, and then this just didn't get around to it. But yeah.
Cool. I saw a really heavy ad campaign for it when it first came out, loads of posters, and everyone was saying go and watch it because it's stop motion, and it's not only is it beautiful, but it's also that's a really unusual style and it's hard to make and everything. Go and watch it. But I love Wes Anderson and stop motion. I don't know why, but I just didn't watch it.
I felt like the most interesting bit of it was how they because it's mostly spoken in Japanese or whatever it is, how they made it more Western with there's a translator or all the dogs speak English and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree.
Yeah. No, I need to watch it. I actually haven't seen a lot of Wes Anderson films. I know. I really like The Grand Budapest Hotel, but I'm just I'm so bad at watching someone's entire filmography.
How come? Is it just
I don't know. I just I never go on binges. I have to watch all of it in one go. So I think the closest are Nolan and Tarantino. I think I'm 2 films away in each of them from completing their filmography. I haven't seen Jackie Brown and Death Proof, and I haven't seen.
I'm missing the exact same ones.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's really seen Death Proof, except Duncan. I think Duncan's seen it. What are the ones I haven't seen? The Prestige, and
Prestige. Are you sure?
Yeah, I know FilmSoc showed it, but I wasn't able to get there that night. I think I was too busy.
No.
I know. Oh, okay. No, I remember why I wasn't there, but I won't get into it. And what's your one? Insomnia? He directed that, right? He wasn't just a writer. Okay, I think an earlier one anyway. Yeah. No, I tend to rewatch Memento 4 or 5 times before watching a new one.
What a play.
Memento.
Have you not? Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. I think this is actually a really good segue because the Tenet trailer just dropped this week. It was shown in Fortnite. I didn't watch it.
How that works? Because I don't understand how that. What do you mean it was shown in Fortnite? What does that mean?
I don't know. I didn't re-download Fortnite to go and watch it. I just waited. I knew they were going to publish it on the internet eventually. I didn't think this would be a Fortnite exclusive trailer. George, did you watch it on Fortnite?
No.
But have we all watched it?
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen it, so I feel terrible. I know about it, mostly from Jerry tweeting about it.
Yeah, fair.
But what does it look like in the trailer? What happens?
It's it's visibly Christopher Nolan in that it's very grey.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean. It's how he shoots all the action and stuff, and the fact that Michael Caine is there is a big giveaway of okay.
I really want to watch it backwards.
Yeah, because that's sort of
the whole Tenet thing.
Yeah, the concept they're playing with is that it's time inversion, so it's
that's cool.
I'm not sure if they're moving forward, but as they're moving forward, everything else is moving backwards in time. So they're starting to see the crisis. I don't know. To be honest, I'm quite confused. That's part.
I've seen the trailer 5 times, and I still have no idea what the film's going to be about.
Yeah, I just I don't know. the thing that stands out most to me is Robert Pattinson, because he looks like Leon from Resident Evil. And his like, you know, when they're in the car and he's got like the bulletproof vest on and everything and the guns, so like, I want like a Resident Evil series with Robert Pattinson as Leon as the lead.
Reboot Resident Evil, but it's...
Well, they're already rebooting it, so
Are they?
hear
I
me.
didn't know
Yeah,
that. Oh.
doing a new series after the final chapter, and this time they mean it.
This time they mean it. What does that mean? I mean, like, did they promise something and then not deliver or something?
Oh, they all just tend to go on like this, like horror series now. Like Friday the 13th, the fourth one's called The Final Chapter, and then the fifth one's called A New Beginning.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that's what it's like the mark of a good horror franchise is that you end it and then immediately restarted from where you left off.
Yeah.
But are you guys excited for Tenet?
I certainly am, yeah.
Okay. Like, isn't like one of the only films they haven't changed the release date for yet?
Yeah, he's being like, yeah, this will bring everybody back into the cinemas. They're even like re-releasing some of his older films in cinemas, like the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff in Japan.
When you say re-releasing some of his old movies, is that as in like in countries outside of the England?
Yeah, mainly I think mainly Asian countries because they're further ahead in reopening stuff than we are, and this is sort of like an icebreaker to sort of get people back in for Tenet. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Christopher Nolan's going for this whole sort of like savior of
cinema
angle. Like this is how he wants to be seen, but he kind of reminds me of Ryan Gosling's character in La La Land, where he's like so into jazz and he's really pure and all, and then it's sort of like, but you're not adapting it. You're just sort of like you're not making it more accessible.
Or the fact that, or he is, but he's against it and doesn't like that.
Yeah. It's just like obviously, like this Fortnite release wasn't his idea. It's just like what are the kids into today.
I'm just picturing just a boardroom full of people like, how do we get the word out of Tenet? Like, it's like Christopher Nolan's like a big enough name to drive. You know what? Fortnite.
Yeah.
So much.
I like.
If you were gonna, I know maybe this is insensitive, but if you were gonna pick a movie to like, and also on Fortnite, like what's going on? But like, if you were gonna pick one, surely wouldn't Dunkirk be a better one to do that in? I don't know. I feel like the plot of Tenet just doesn't seem to work with anything like, I don't know. I guess you wouldn't have had a reason to do it on Fortnite back when Dunkirk came out, and plus it's kind of insensitive to do it on there anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, Fortnite tends to have a much younger audience.
Yes!
So like, it's just weird.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, to be honest, I'm not sure I'd be excited for this film if Robert Pattinson weren't in it.
What makes you say that? Like, what about it?
I don't know. I think it's just like the last couple of Christopher Nolan films. I just haven't like Interstellar and Dunkirk. I just wasn't as fussed on them, you know, especially Interstellar. I thought it was fine for a lot of it, and then I just like hated the ending of it.
I think I get what you mean, because he seems to have gone more like visual over entertaining plot and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Memento, I loved watching it because I love seeing how the plot sort of unfolds. And I'm kind of hoping like this sort of time inversion is sort of like, well, if we take the structure of Memento and play it out as like a literal plot device in the film, you know, sort of like things are going back as you're sort of going forward in the plot, or I don't know. I'm not really sure how this is playing out, to be fair. I don't think I can say too much about it until I actually see it and all comes together. But Tenet wasn't the only one to drop the trailer this week, because Spike Lee's The Five Bloods released their first trailer, and it's a new Netflix film coming out on June 12th, I think, and follows and follows like black platoon of Vietnamese soldiers. Did you guys see the trailer?
No, I haven't, no.
Oh, okay. I watched it like an hour ago in preparation for this.
What's it?
Thinking, like,
Yeah, you said it's about a black.
yeah, and it's basically just sort of like, I mean, I don't really know too much about it because I didn't read the synopsis and the trailer doesn't give away quite a lot, but I think it sort of like revisits them now, and I think they go back to Vietnam, and there's like a cache of stuff, that they want to like retrieve or whatever. It's hard to say, it's very Spike Lee, it's sort of mashing up the footage with like historical footage
That's so
and
cool.
and footage shot to look historical. So it's quite you don't really know what you're seeing yet, and you don't really know what's important. Like it's a very Spike Lee looking trailer.
That's nice.
And I liked it. Yeah. It's nice when you have a trailer that represents the director.
I think it's such an interesting like thing to do, to make footage that looks like it's archive when it's not. I think like, because I totally understand the like style behind it. It's like not a conversation for today, but like documentaries that do that, it's quite an interesting thing to like recreate it and like how truthful that is. When in fiction it's quite different, I suppose, but if you lulling someone into thinking that it is archive when it's not, it's quite an interesting thing to do, I think.
Yeah, like it's definitely playing around with all the aspect ratios and stuff and making it feel quite like all the sort of I'm guessing it's like flashback scenes or whatever are going to be shot in sort of a bit more of a, okay, I don't know like aspect ratio names or the ratios or anything, but like a bit more boxed than
I think that's a fair
rectangular.
enough word to use.
That sort of smaller
I'm pretty
aspect
sure
ratio.
the only Spike Lee film I've seen is Black Klansman, so I should probably watch some more.
Yeah.
What else have I seen?
I'm trying to think. I know I've seen more. I'm gonna look up his filmography real quick. I had something I was gonna say and it's gone. Never mind. Spike Lee. He has done Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing's really good. If you guys,
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Yes, it's really great.
Okay. So you just said it was good, and then I asked you if it was good.
I didn't know. Did he do Old?
Did he do what?
It says it's like on Google's filmography. He did Old Boy.
Well, there was a
Well,
remake of it. Do you think he did
Maybe he did the remake.
the 2013 one?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even know it had a remake.
Oh, it's got what's his name? Josh Brolin.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
It's got like half of the Avengers cast. It's got Rami Malek and Samuel L. Jackson.
Huh. That's really interesting. It reminds me of this whenever someone mentions Spike Lee, it always reminds me of that video that I saw of like when Green Book came out, and there's interviewers who are like, what was it about this film? And he's like, are you British? And they're like, yeah. Are you British? Yeah. Let me put it in a way that it wasn't my cup of tea. Good quote.
Oh my god, I love Spike Lee that year.
He's fantastic, isn't he?
Like, I just feel for him because Black Klansman's just like, it's such a brilliant film.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we need to do a deep dive on Black Klansman.
That would be really cool, actually. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, it's just. Did you know?
Speaking of
go on.
Black Klansman, it's got is it Denzel Del Washington's son who is in Tenet?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the other reason I'm excited to see Tenet.
You just have a very you have very like talent-oriented reasons that you're excited for a movie. It seems.
Honestly, like, yeah, I'm a little over the sort of like time concept. Like, I was thinking about, and it's such a big like I was talking to you before this about like that Modern Family episode where they have like a Skype call and it's all done like that, and it's like, oh, that's like a very high concept thing that they did for a few years, and like it's like a buzz concept, and I feel like gritty time thrillers were a buzz concept of the sort of like late 2000s and early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Where you had things like Inception and Looper and all,
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of like cautious going into Tenet because it could very well just sort of be like Knives Out and revive a genre that hasn't like really thrived in a while. But but it could also be like really derivative of what's come before and not really do a whole lot new. And it could be like, I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so I'm expecting it'll be like a really well-made film.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think whenever you're going high concept sci-fi, it needs to be more than like well-made. It needs to be like interesting, and it needs to have something new to say.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of worried that it's not going to have anything new to say. And so my excitement going into it is geared towards the talent, because these are two, I mean, like, they've both been around for a while, but they're sort of like in the height of their career. And so it's exciting to sort of see them, you know, do something like this, and sort of see where they can go next. I think I'll be less disappointed if I focus in on talent.
Is this the last Robert Pattinson film before he like becomes Batman? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because he was they're sort of saying that they couldn't shoot the Batman before shooting this, I think, a year ago or something like that. Yeah, so he's going to enter a new chapter. Is he Denzel Washington Jr.? Does he have
I
like
think
a
so.
yeah?
I don't know.
Like
I think, or is it John or something? I have no idea.
Is he doing anything after this? Like, I imagine he is.
Tenet
Should
2.
be. Yeah, Tenet 2.
Wouldn't you have to call it like Tenet 2, so then it makes
Yeah, complete scenario.
Two
There's a word for it. No, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, what's it called when words can go? Oh, it's a word. By the way, comments, I hadn't been checking them. Amy said, is it really a Nolan film if you understand it? And Devon was reminding us before we said it that he did an American remake, Spike Lee, of the Old Boy thing. But I'll keep an eye on the comments from now on, because
Okay.
I was looking at it from the wrong stream.
Thanks, I'm really bad at keeping track of comments. I'm
fine.
sorry, people, I don't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you guys want to talk about Scoob? Because it's like the
Of
greatest
course.
thing ever. And
I've been excited for this all day, and I only found out about this stream about 5 minutes ago.
Like, it's not even available in the UK yet.
Oh,
And like, it's so bizarre because it just sort of blew up on Twitter and everyone just started talking about it. And I was like, oh, so it must be really bad. And then I looked up reviews and all, and it's like, oh, it's just really lukewarm. It's just very okay. And then everybody just like turned into a meme. And I think it's because it's got like the whole like Hanna-Barbera characters sort of extended universe sort of aspect to it.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about this was that everyone just talked about the 90s animated films, which are like my favorite things ever. Like, they are fantastic. And we need to watch one of them for Halloween at FilmSoc.
That would be really good, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit too scary for me. I'm sorry.
Honestly, like, Zombie Island was terrifying as a kid, but I will bring
I found
it.
the Mummy one quite scary. That one was.
Oh, Devon. Oh, yeah, the Mummy one's great.
Are we going to see the green square?
Yes. Oh my god.
For finally, the live stream, the live watchers get to see the green square.
Oh yes. Hello, people. I'm here. My computer has unblue screened.
Exciting.
So, Devon, we're just in the middle of talking about Scoob.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't really got that far into a discussion, so feel free.
I did want to amend a previous thing in the idea for Fortnite and to premiere the Tenet trailer, which is, I was thinking about it, probably one of the most important trailers of the century so far, which seems like hyperbole, but really that trailer coming out signifies that Warner is comfortable banking on the film industry opening in July, and that is sort of such a huge thing for the industry. So probably the most important trailer of this century so far, and it was Nolan's idea to do it on Fortnite.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yeah, he was on a phone call with someone. I think he phoned up the Fortnite people, and he was like, "Hey,
I mean,
you want to do
his
this?"
films, it doesn't make any sense why I did it.
Well, I think Nolan is very much about cinema, and that's not so much. I mean, it is partly physically sitting down in a cinema, but it's also sort of the communal aspects of it. I feel like the whole Fortnite thing, even though it is virtual and stuff, it is still a sort of virtual space which people gather to enjoy films together, which is what he's about. So I can kind of see, I can see his methodology, his kind of, yeah, where it ended
Yeah.
up was surprising.
When you describe it like that, you make it sound so lovely and nice. Like it's a place where we'll come together. It's very nice.
Yeah, rather than just like having a film on in the background on an iPad while you're cooking dinner, which I think he would hunt you down with an axe if he found out you're watching one of his films like that. Yeah. Anyway, Scoob, where were
yeah,
we?
Scoob.
Where were we?
So it released, and the reviews were really like lukewarm. Like they weren't bad, but they weren't great either. And then it just blew up anyway. It didn't matter to people that it was just an okay film. Like, Twitter was just going to go for it anyway. And yeah, I don't even know what to think, because we don't even have like numbers yet on how well it did. I don't think, or we don't have like very concrete ones.
I've read somewhere that people thought it was doing better than Trolls 2, which is surprising.
I mean,
Why
I'd
do you
watch
think it's
over
surprising?
Trolls 2.
Wait, what was that?
Sorry.
I'd watch over. Oh, sorry.
No, Peter said he would watch it over Trolls 2. I was saying, why do you think, and it kind of answers my question, why do you think it's doing better than Trolls 2? Or like, why are you surprised?
I was surprised because Trolls 2 did a lot better than people were expecting. And I thought that it would just be sort of a fluke of there had been nothing to watch. And maybe it's still, there was like enough time passed between them. But yeah, I was surprised that I wonder if we could see more mediocre kids films being released over the coming weeks. Now they've found their niche.
Yeah, and like parents are just gonna buy those because they just want to keep their kids distracted from like ripping up the walls and stuff. I don't know how kids work. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Yeah.
Especially films which sort of people knew weren't going to do very well cinematically. I feel like this current release method of viral internet marketing followed by a completely VOD push is maybe not better than cinematic, but certainly if a film was going to get bad reviews, those don't matter so much in this environment.
Yeah, true. It'll be interesting to see what they do going forward, if they're going to continue the Scoob, Hanna-Barbera universe with the Dick Dastardly solo film coming out in 2023.
You're joking. That's not a real thing, is it?
No, but I really want it to be. Like, I'm not going to go and see it, but I just want to know that's
more
a thing.
than right. Okay, I see.
I think they'll go for Wacky Races next.
I mean, the thing we really the main thing that I'm excited for is to find out what acronym they decide for their cinematic universe.
Oh yeah.
Because we've had stuff like the Dooku for the Dark Universe cinematic universe. We had the horrible Spider-Man one that I'll try and find it. It was it was like Sony's Heroes of Spider-Man cinematic universe or something like that.
We'll get to talk about that later on a wee bit. Got some stuff planned. Yeah.
The Scoob film, apparently Matthew Lillard, who played obviously the original Shaggy in the live action films, which I still think hold up, he was quite upset that they didn't ask him to play Shaggy.
Yeah.
Well, he's been voicing Shaggy in the cartoons for like, the better part of a decade or two. Yeah.
I didn't realize he'd been voicing him until really recently. I thought it was just like he was a movie choice. That's insane. Like how that dedication. That's amazing.
Like he's just so good as Shaggy. In fact, like everyone in those live action films are expertly cast. I think. Like I really do think those are the best casting decisions I've seen in a long time. And it's weird saying that for these like early 2000s Scooby-Doo films. But like,
they were
I
born
really,
to play those characters.
yeah, like I really can't imagine anyone other than like Linda Cardellini as like a live action Velma. I just think she just like fits that role perfectly, and Freddie Prinze Jr. is so great at playing like this egotistical, self-deluded misogynist. You know, it's just like they're just like perfect for you know, the characters and what they're doing with them. Sorry if my screen's not doing well here. It's a little stormy where I am at the minute, so the connection's not great.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about when I saw Matthew Lillard at Comic-Con? I think I've told it on the radio show. Have I not?
I don't remember, but maybe.
Oh, okay. It was last summer I saw him at Comic-Con talking. And of course, most people know him for Scooby-Doo. And a lot of the questions were, well, one of the very kind of early questions was about the new Scoob movie and whether he'd been contacted and stuff like that. And the whole panel, it was really weird and slightly uncomfortable, but very fascinating, because it almost was like it was dawning on him over that hour slot that he sort of is no longer the go-to as Shaggy, and that this has sort of been his steady income, and he's never really taken off in any other avenue of acting, and that might dry up, and he might sort of be kind of left as just another actor fending to fight for roles in the world. And yeah, it was sort of a bit sad, but just a very interesting kind of seeing him almost subtly break down on stage while answering these questions and trying to be like lively and to an audience.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Grace has
Uh-oh.
said the Scooby-Doo films were great, and I loved how it had Mr. Bean in it. But
I forgot about Rona.
yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
it's quite
Oh,
amazing that it can overshadow Rowan Atkinson.
Everything about them is so good. So now that Devon's here, I think we can get on to our big news of today.
Just very quickly before we go, the Spider-Man acronym that I was trying to think of, they originally called it Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters, or SPUMP for the acronym. And they realized that maybe that wasn't the best name, so luckily they've switched it to Spider-Man Universe of Characters. So their new Suck universe is, you know, a far better name.
Oh, that's so
Right. Speaking of comic book universes, when was it? Wednesday night, we got the big news that the Snyder Cut is happening. That it will be released next year on HBO Max. They haven't decided yet if they're going to put it together as a 4-hour long film or divide up into like episodes, like weekly episodes. It's getting $20 to $30 million to do more scenes and finishing the VFX and doing new VFX. And they're bringing back the original crew, and they sort of said like music, and I don't know if that means bringing back Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer just Junkie XL to do the score. I really hope so. Danny Elfman was not on his game for that Justice League film. So yeah, this is happening. Like naturally, Twitter had a very calm, level-headed discussion about this, and we're really respectful of other people's opinions, whether they like the film or not, or the prospect of like a new cut for film for fans. You know, everyone was just so nice to each other.
I think it's said that always the most provoking, kind of well-thought, well-spoken arguments are done within 140 character limit. So.
So yeah, what are your opinions, guys?
I think Devon should go first.
Go for it.
I can't wait. It probably will be bad. I don't think it'll be worse than Justice League. I thought that was just
That can't be.
one of, if not the worst comic book film I've ever seen. And I was a big fan of Man of Steel. I thought Batman v Superman was very interesting. and I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it was a good film, and I fell asleep in Justice League. So yeah, I really did not like that film. But I was chuckling at a tweet, and he kind of asked about what it was, and I spent 40 minutes trying to explain how the Snyder Cut happened and why it is, because there's like backstory about why this specific thing happened going back to like 2006, at like the motion of events which meant that we have this situation. It's just absolutely ridiculous, but we're finally gonna see Zack Snyder. I think I've said it on this radio show. Zack Snyder, he always like has a 4-hour final draft of a script, and he shoots like 3 hours of it, and then about 2 hours end up on the screen, and it's always just a mess because of that. And we're finally going to see a full Snyder film, which we just don't really get ever. And
Watchmen has this like ridiculous 5-hour cut,
Watchmen does have the ultimate cut, but
and
I
it's
feel
like animated and everything like in between, like it just becomes animated for like an hour and a half.
But I feel like even that, Watchmen was done under the kind of creative limits of a studio. This is the first time that Zack Snyder just has full creative freedom. He can literally he can put whatever he wants on the screen, and I mean, I guess Sucker Punch and 300 was sort of like that, but even then Sucker Punch had to have a separate director's cut because they wanted it to be 12 and all that.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
I just sort of assumed Sucker Punch was always like a 15, knowing that there's like a 12A cut out there.
The studio like saw it, and like all his films, they were like, this is way too dark and way too long. With every single one of his films. So I
wonder
I'm
what would
excited.
happen if they like give him a TV show, because they tend to be quite long. That might be more suited for him than a film.
I think so, but I feel like he would struggle with the budget on a TV show, because he loves these huge, sweeping, epic stories, and for him it's all about sort of the frame, because he's trained as a painter. That's sort of what he did in his degree in university. So it's all about making the frame just look perfect and telling as much story as he can just through the blocking and kind of construction of the frame. So he has so much CGI because it's all got to be perfect, every little bit.
Yeah, like I don't know about you guys. I know I have a fair guess about you guys. I really like Zack Snyder as a director. I don't think he tells like amazing characterizations of things, but like visually, like Devon was saying, it's just something I really take to, and I can get why you wouldn't like it. I think it's a very sort of like a Marmite sort of thing. And I've seen his director's cut of Batman v Superman, and I really like it. I think I really enjoy it. It turns out half an hour is a lot, and you can tell a lot of story in half an hour. So I'm really excited for this, to be fair. I think it'll be interesting to see how this fits into like the continuity of the DCEU, because this could quite easily retcon the theatrical Justice League if they wanted to, because it's not really mentioned afterwards. Like Aquaman, there's a throwaway line where it's like, oh, remember when Steppenwolf did that shit? And it's like, yeah, I remember that. And then they go on with the rest of the movie, and I don't think Shazam mentioned it. Birds of Prey only references Suicide Squad like a few times. I think they could do it. Sorry.
I don't think so, because like he originally planned it as a 3-parter, and this is the first part of a 3-parter, so it will end on a cliffhanger. And I don't think they will ever continue his Justice League. I don't think we'll ever get part 2 of Justice League in space, just because there's not the audience that justifies the budget.
Yeah, I think what we're getting here is like not the original vision of Justice League. I think he said in an interview that this isn't going to be the original plan. This is going to be something else entirely. So I could sort of see him reworking the film and filming new bits and pieces and trying to come up with a completed storyline just to sort of have a really long Justice League film that's about 4 hours and just make it like 1 4-hour epic. Sorry, I'm speaking too much. George, what are your opinions on this?
I'm quite excited for it. I'm in the same boat. I kind of like Zack Snyder as a director. Like 300 was pretty fun. I'm not as much of a hater of Batman versus Superman as most people. I think it would be really funny if it does bad, because all these people just really wanting it to do well and just flops over. But I also think it's quite interesting in terms of, it seems that audiences are having more and more influence over films, like with Sonic the Hedgehog. Sorry, I just had to talk about it.
Yeah.
They obviously
Yeah.
campaigned and changed it, and like people have campaigned for this and they've changed it, and it's like, when does it stop becoming the director's film and start just becoming a fan film?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting because this was like a whole thing. I think this was like the main arguments that were going on along on Twitter, where it's sort of like, oh, you're just like giving up to these entitled and toxic fans if you want to do this. But the whole point of this was to get the director's vision. Like Justice League is a very, very special case of everybody just sort of like fucks up and all ends. And there's like that classic, who was it, Kevin Tsujihara, who was in charge at the time, was like, right, Justice League can't be over 2 hours long. And that was it. They cut it down. It's actually like Justice League, the big crossover event, is like the second shortest film in the franchise. Like Suicide Squad is longer than Justice League. And it's just like, I think it's quite an interesting campaign because like there's always going to be toxic people. I just sort of accept that, and I think our people need to accept that like everyone's an individual, and within those individuals, some of them are going to be toxic, and as individuals, we all have our own likes and dislikes. So no matter what sort of fandom you get into, there's always going to be a toxic person in it that just likes that sort of thing too, and you just sort of need to accept that and move past that and sort of condemn people for being toxic rather than as a fandom as a whole. Especially since this one has been like really productive in raising awareness and money for suicide prevention and awareness and stuff. So
I think £150,000.
Yeah, like insane. If you guys don't know, Zack Snyder's one of his daughters committed suicide during the production of Justice League, and that was one of the reasons why he stepped down as director. And this is obviously in sort of memory of it. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Just like it's like no matter what the film's like, where people like it or dislike it, I think it's sort of like a symbol for sort of like that artistic justice and sort of just like, and like the heroics behind what this campaign has done. Like I know some people have found that, oh, this is a little bit irritating, or there's a couple other people that are like a little bit more toxic, but in the grand scheme of things, I think they've done quite a lot, and I think it's quite a heroic motion that they've sort of pushed as well and raising this sort of awareness. So no matter what, I hope they release it on physical media. Like no matter what, I'd like to own this on Blu-ray and maybe get rid of the theatrical
I
cut.
think we all know that like as soon as it comes out, and if it's half decent, it's going to change from we want the Snyder cut to we want the second part, please, and it's just going to keep going probably.
Well, that's
There'll
what
be two DC timelines going on at once, and everyone's just going to be really confused.
Sorry, before we go on, Kat, I forgot to ask, what are your thoughts on this?
I feel as though I'm definitely not. I would watch it 100%, but it's more because like my friends and the people that I'm talk to mostly are quite interested in it. I'm not like a super. Out of the four of us, I'm definitely like the least kind of interested in it.
That's fair.
But I think I'm interested in it from like a author perspective, I guess. Like in terms of like, oh, it's quite cool to think that this person, like hearing Devon talk about the style and stuff like that is quite cool, but it's definitely more of like, the more I hear it spoken about, the more excited I am. And I think that's sort of the power, I guess, of the social media and the fans talking about it, really, that's making me want to go and watch it. But I think hearing about that stuff to do with like his daughter and everything, that's made me quite a bit more interested in him as a guy than just sort of assuming that because he makes superhero movies, he must be kind of flat, I guess. Because Grace just commented, I have no idea who Snyder is, sorry. And it's just that, does anyone want to just briefly explain who Zack Snyder is, just in case anybody's unaware?
Do you want to go for it, or should I?
I can try and do it very quickly. Do you want just who he is or how he ended up in this situation?
You give us both, why not?
Okay, so Zack Snyder is a film director. He trained as a painter, and then he kind of transitioned into film. He did Dawn of the Dead remake, which was actually written by James Gunn. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. But the big film that kind of put him on the map was 300, and kind of people really paid attention to him and like, okay, this guy is something. He's got very particular vision and flair. And 300 was a very cheap film that went on to make a lot of money. I think it was the highest grossing film in Greece until Joker. That is how just ridiculously amount of money that it made. And then 300 was a comic book movie. He went on to make Watchmen, which was a comic done by a guy called Frank Miller, which is sort of a deconstruction of superhero comics. No, it's not Frank Miller, is it?
No, it's
the one who I always get mixed up with Frank Miller.
Yeah, and Alan Moore.
Alan
Dave
Moore.
Gibbons.
Yes. And it was coined as like an unadaptable comic book because it was just, graphic novel, because it's just so like deconstructing of the very form. And they have been trying to make it for a while because it's a very popular graphic novel, but everyone had fallen through. Zack Snyder finally took the reins and made it, and it was a successful film, a bit divisive, but successful. Around this time, DC needed to make another Superman film to keep hold of the Superman license. The last one, Superman Returns, had done very badly, and Bryan Singer, who's the director, had moved on to X-Men, so he had just kind of taken his hands off it altogether. And the guy who played Superman, is it Brandon Routh?
Yeah, Brandon Routh.
He didn't want to come back, so they needed to reboot Superman. And they went to Nolan, of course, who did The Dark Knight, and they were like, hey, Nolan, will you do this? Will you make Superman? And he said, I'll help with the story treatment, but I won't actually direct the film. So Warner got Zack Snyder and put him in charge of the film. He made Man of Steel. It was fairly well reviewed, but still divisive. Of course, Man of Steel came out in 2013. In 2012, The Avengers came out. And Warner were like, actually, we don't want Superman, we want the Avengers. So we need you to make a superhero team up. But Zack Snyder was still sort of the only person in this thing. Like, they went to Christopher Nolan, they said, hey, would you make a superhero team up? And he was like, nope. They went to Christian Bale and they were like, hey, do you want to come back as Batman? And he was like, no. I think they offered him like 40 million or something ridiculous. So they just had Zack Snyder. So they decided to just give him complete creative freedom and let him make the DCEU, as it was called, in whatever way he wanted. He makes Batman vs Superman. He makes it way too long, way too dark. They, as usual, they say, hey, make it much shorter and much less dark. And that ended up, basically, Batman vs Superman is about Batman and Superman being very angry at each other, while Lois Lane is the plot. So they cut Lois Lane and they cut out the plot.
Pretty much.
So it was horrific. I mean, of course, the ultimate cut, it's still dark and it's still very much a Snyder film, but the original cut dropped like a stone. People really didn't like it. But at the time, they were already in production for Justice League and they were already started. And they sort of realized, oh no, we don't want Zack Snyder helming our extended universe. We don't want that. We want a Marvel. We want Josh Whedon to make a quippy, fun, banterous superhero team up. And then, of course, the tragedy of his family happened, and his wife is his main producer. So it really was like a proper tragedy for that entire production. And that was sort of the time when the studio were like, okay, well, maybe you should step away. So, yeah, that's how an entire cinematic universe got placed into a single creative vision, which then entirely crumbled.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, sucker punches in there between.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
while they were
between
prepping.
Watchmen and Man of Steel. Sorry.
Yeah, that also
Um,
is his personal projects while he was prepping for Man of Steel.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend the Ultimate Edition because it basically adds Lois Lane in and enhances Lex Luthor as a villain and just like the whole plot as a whole, because she's sort of like the investigative journalist that has to figure out what the hell's actually going on in this film, and you really need that. Like, it's so crucial. I can't believe that was what they cut out of it.
Wow.
And she's hardly in the Justice League film that they ended up with. So
Wow.
I hope they add more Lois Lane. I mean, I think she's meant to be like a key part of the original Justice League, so I'm sure like they'll get them all back.
Apparently, is it Ray Parker, the guy who plays Cyborg?
Yes.
I've heard in the original draft he was sort of the main character of Justice League, which makes it even sadder that he was almost completely cut from the film and then his career just sort of died.
I thought he was one of the best bits in Justice League. I thought he's quite a new actor. I think this was his first like film role, and I think he did a really great job, especially since like he's probably in like a green screen suit or whatever for most of it, like a mocap thing. Yeah. No, I hope they get like. Well, I was sort of thinking, if you guys notice, Zack Snyder announced this after screening, like a live commentary thing of Man of Steel, and at the end, Henry Cavill showed up just as they were going to announce it. And if you guys have been keeping it at home, we haven't seen Henry Cavill as Superman since Justice League. And basically what's happened is, well, it's mainly money. I think Warner Brothers wants him to come back. He wants to come back. But at the time when they signed him on for Man of Steel, he wasn't that big of an actor. So he wasn't getting paid as much as he's worth now. So he's been holding out. If you guys have seen Shazam, there's like a little Superman cameo at the end, but you don't see his face. Henry Cavill was so close to doing that, and then I think between like a little bit of disputes and filming Fallout, was Fallout, right? Yeah, I think so.
That was the whole like mustache issue.
I think what's going to happen now, hopefully, is that the Snyder Cut will be released, and this will be they'll sign him back on, or again, like he's already contracted to do one more film. And I think they've just sort of been holding in their pocket. Like, I think Shazam was going to be part of that. And I think the rumors now are that they want him to come back to do another Superman film. And they want him to be part of, they're building up like sort of like Shazam versus Black Adam. And I think they want him for that, which is a big part of the comics as well. It's quite famous, sort of like Shazam and Superman have to like stop Black Adam, who's basically as powerful as both of them.
Is Black Adam the one that the Rock is attached to?
Yeah, he's. I think it's kind of weird because he's sort of like a villain most of the time in the comics. It's been the odd time he's sort of anti-heroic. I don't know how they're going to play that with the Rock. I could sort of see it as like he's like a hero and then becomes more anti-heroic as the film goes along.
I feel like it's going to be kind of like Venom.
Yeah, or like I was thinking Mystique from First Class, where you sort of see how she, starts off on one side and then sort of like you sympathize with her decisions to, like, this isn't for her. She needs to do like stuff her own way. But yeah, that both those. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting. Last thing before we move on to, I've got some games planned. I know, exciting. What could it possibly be? It's news. So before we go on, David Ayer has been hinting about the possibility of the air cut of Suicide Squad, and AT&T, which now owns Warner Brothers since like last year or the year before. I think they own all of it now. So like the cheeky reply, wink and nod onto his tweet. And he's been posting pictures of the Joker from a different cut of the film. Do you guys know much about Air's original Suicide Squad plans? No?
I kind of get A's tweets appearing on my, when Twitter tells me to look at Twitter every now and again. And it seems like there is 700, like it seems very unfocused and very all over the place. I feel like it was trying to make a series more than a film.
Yeah.
But yeah, only bits and pieces, and wild bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, well, it's pretty, I don't want to say it's pretty much the same. It's not that different. But in the original plans, Suicide Squad was going to be more heavily tied to Zack Snyder's Justice League plans. And the idea was that, so like, to give you an idea, Steppenwolf and Justice League's from like this big bad world called Apocalypse, and they serve Darkseid, who is sort of like the original Thanos in the comic, basically evil. And there are these creatures called parademons. They're sort of like the cannon fodder. And in Suicide Squad, the original script, Enchantress, I think when she's released, sort of senses that this is coming, and she decides that she's going to aid in Darkseid's invasion, and that the zombie sort of things were originally going to be her own type of parademon, and that the machine she was building was going to be a boombox, like a portal to Apocalypse, to sort of aid in this sort of connection. And it was going to be a bit more like that. The Joker was going to be more heavily involved, more abusive towards Harley. And he shows up at the end. There are these pictures where his face is sort of like burned down the side, and that's him after the helicopter crash. So if you haven't seen Suicide Squad, and I'm just sort of like narrating this, I'm sure anyone who's going to see Suicide Squad has seen it by now.
I've seen Suicide Squad, and I just realized I have no idea what the light in the air was originally.
It wasn't anything. I think it was just like, oh, they worship machines, so I'm going to get rid of these machines so that they worship me, was her motive. In the end, that's how they changed her. So it's much more like simplified, and I think it's quite interesting because that's clearly the retooled one in the like reshoots and stuff, and I think that's why she's so one-dimensional as a character, because they decided, oh wait, no, we're actually not going to do any of that sort of stuff, and this was like, let's quickly rework this. Sorry, George, were you going to say something?
All I remember from Suicide Squad was like, was it Cara Delevingne just doing like a weird wiggle?
Yeah, the whole
all I
fancy
remember.
Enchantress. So yeah, I think it could be interesting if Snyder cut as well. Then David Ayer could put out his own alternate cut of Suicide Squad on the HBO service.
Is HBO just going to re-release all of the DCEU, but just good?
I think like, I think Suicide Squad and Justice League are infamous for this was like heavily reshot or re-edited. So yeah, but basically HBO Max doesn't really have that much content yet, or it's going to take a while to build up this sort of content. So if you could go back and find footage that's been archived and just play around with it and get a new cut out, then that's like new content that you can have in a year at least. So I could see them doing it for at least a couple of them.
It is also sort of genius, the idea of, hey, let's make an all-star high production TV series with all of our A-lister cast for about $30 million.
Yeah, I think it's great. If they do make the Ayer cut, this will be the third cut of Suicide Squad, because it also has an extended edition.
Oh wow!
Which adds only like 10 minutes to it. Anyway, game. That's a fun. I really couldn't, I wanted to do a game. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I decided I'd take some news and put it into categories. And I'm going to give you a few 3, 4, 5 headlines. And this is really just to believe everything you hear. One of them's not true. I want you to tell me which one isn't. So first category, sequels and prequels. Scream 5 confirmed with David Arquette returning. Furiosa prequel with John Sayles as the cinematographer. Francis Lawrence is returning to direct Red Sparrow 2. The Avatar sequels cost $1 billion collectively. And Extraction 2 has been confirmed by Netflix.
This might be one of those things where they're all right, but like one of the things is slightly wrong, and we don't know the slightly wrong thing.
I can't tell you.
Are we
like the
just
Red
discussing
Sparrow
amongst ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
are we
Go ahead.
Okay,
Discuss.
you discuss.
Okay.
Good, because otherwise I'd be screwed.
I don't know about Red Sparrow, but I
No.
recognize all of the others.
Same.
Yeah, like I don't even remember the first. Is that the one with
Jennifer
Who was
Lawrence.
Jennifer
like,
Lawrence? I heard,
Basically a sort of Black Widow type film.
yeah, like, I don't see them making another film like that. After no one really went to see it. I think.
Yeah,
Did
I
they?
don't remember anyone talking about it.
Yeah. So the others were there's
Furious.
definitely a Scream 5 happening,
Yeah,
and I don't know who's attached because I've never seen a Scream.
I know they're getting. Was it the deputy from the first one? He's coming back.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
He had like the mustache. I don't know. I know they're doing. They probably are going to do an Extraction too because that did really well.
I saw that was confirmed. Again, I don't know who's attached or whatever. Avatar's definitely cost $1 billion. I've definitely read that headline that all four of them combined are $1 billion, so it's 250 million each, which actually isn't terrible, I don't think, in terms of costs. And Furious is prequel. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think it's the Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
Then I'll answer.
Yeah.
I vote for that answer too.
George?
Then Peter's just got that look on his face, and it's just making me question.
Not that look.
What do you think then, George?
I mean, I think the same, but it's just Peter's face. Just question it.
I don't know what else it could be.
Okay, is that the final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. Right. I fabricated that one that Red Sparrow 2 would get a sequel.
Woo!
Yeah. I was sorry because I thought the rest of these headlines were like pretty high profile, and I was trying to think of something that was like kind of under the radar but could also be true because it was financially successful enough to be true. Like just like a really boring headline: Red Sparrow 2 confirmed.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Well, I think you did a good job making a fake article, yeah.
Like Jennifer Lawrence isn't really doing anything at the moment anyway.
So Scream 5, I'm so excited about this. Right, so this is coming from the Ready or Not directors. I haven't seen Ready or Not, but I really want to. I heard it's like so much fun, like a big popcorn
Yeah, I've heard
thriller.
it's really good.
Yeah, and then for a while it was sort of like, this was announced ages ago, and people weren't sure if this was going to be like a sequel or it was going to be a reboot or a remake or whatever, but this is sort of confirmed it now that this is going to be Scream 5. I think David Arquette is definitely confirmed because this is how people knew it was Scream 5, that he's returning as one of the main characters, Deputy Police Dewey Riley. And I think Courtney Cox said that she's going to come back as Gail Weathers, who plays his love interest in the series. I think Neve Campbell has said that who plays the main character is, will be a return. So, yeah, very excited. This will be the first one that's not directed by Wes Craven, who passed away in 2015. Yeah, something like that. I think that was like one of the reasons why people weren't sure if this was going to be like a sequel or a reboot, because it wasn't going to be him.
I don't know why they're making a new one though, because like each of the films had like a message. Like the first one was like looking at like original slasher films. The second one was sequels. Third one was the final one in a trilogy, and then the fourth one he made was of like remakes and all that stuff happening.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they do a fifth one.
I don't know either, but I'm excited.
Money.
I love the Scream films. I think they're great. Yeah, Furiosa prequel confirmed by George Miller, and Charlize Theron is not coming back for the role. But I think I remember reading that Jodie Comer was being eyed for it.
Also, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh yeah,
She's up there too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're both good choices. I mean, I'd really like Charlize Theron, but I understand if this is a prequel, then you'll need someone a bit younger, I suppose they're going for.
Are you guys excited for it?
Yeah.
I'll
Or
watch
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely.
let me rephrase that. Would you guys prefer a Furiosa prequel or another Mad Max?
At first, I was sort of like, because they've been talking about it for ages, and I thought it was just going to be a follow-up. And then when they announced it was a prequel, I was a little bit disappointed. I was thinking, like, I don't know, because I feel like her story just concludes a Fury Road, so I get why they do a prequel. I think this makes more sense in terms of narrative. I don't want to spoil Fury Road, but I do think it sort of wraps it all up quite nicely. And that if you're going to continue the characters' like legacy in this universe, it would be better as a prequel. But what do you guys think?
I think it would have been quite interesting to sort of keep going with Mad Max. Well, even though he wasn't like the main character of Fury Road at all, but sort of like follow him meeting more people, like sort of like there's a different main character now, sort of like Furiosa, but just somebody else, and it's just Tom Hardy just bumbling around being Tom Hardy. Yeah. But I am definitely excited to see more of Furiosa.
Same.
Is George Miller directing it, or is he just
Yes.
like, yeah, okay. I wasn't sure because, when they do these things, like it's George Miller's Furiosa and he's like an executive producer. Yeah, I was like, it's not really George Miller's then.
A bit of what's the Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, Tim Burton's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bad because I can't even remember who does direct it.
Yeah.
It's all these things that are like, oh, you do know Tim Burton did direct it. I was like, well, who did?
If it's usually who didn't do a Tim Burton film, it's usually Henry Selick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Did he do Coraline as well?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, okay, because that's another one of this is definitely a Tim Burton aesthetic.
Aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah, and Jordan Peele, I think, is becoming a bit like that as well. With Candyman, like Jordan Peele's Candyman, and it's like it's directed by Nia DaCosta. It's not even like just directed by her; she's one of the main writers on the film.
I mean, sort of bring it back. The first Man of Steel trailers were like from Christopher Nolan, director of The Dark Knight, and it was like, yeah, he did a story treatment and he's an executive producer.
Well, so we have Avatar sequels cost $1 billion. Like you were saying, Devon, it's like it's not really that much. I mean, like it's a lot of money, obviously, but
compared to what they're doing with it, the fact that it's a James Cameron film that is all the CGI of Avatar and all of the water stuff of Titanic put together.
I think this is about equivalent to how much Avatar would have got. Like if you were to adjust it for inflation, I think this is probably about the same amount. It's a water planet, right? The first one.
Yeah. First one's set like primarily in the water, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because I think Aquaman maybe cost $200 million or thereabouts. So yeah, okay. I think that's a fair enough budget to get like the water physics right. It'll be interesting to see how they build their water world because it's something that hasn't really been done before. Well, Aquaman. I don't think people give Aquaman enough credit for making this breakthrough in technology of water physics and making it look actually like in water.
Of course, James Cameron was going to direct Aquaman and was attached to the project developing the technology for a long time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it should be about the same, hopefully.
Well, same as in the same technology, but with James Cameron putting James Cameron into it.
Yeah. Are you guys going to watch the Avatar sequels?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be the thing that breaks my Disney boycott.
I'm a bit more like George.
I mean, I'm not particularly bothered. Like the first one was a fun watch, but like, yeah, it's nothing too big. I feel like he's just trying to make 3D a thing which everybody just loves, but it never worked. Is he trying to do 3D again for the next one?
I think he's. I mean, I hope he's ditched it. But I don't know. Has he?
He won't. But also, Avatar's sort of the only good 3D film.
Yeah.
I spent more time trying to catch the jellyfish flowers in the cinema than watching the film. Like, I remember coming out of this film, like, cinema, and, like, my mom asked me, like, oh, how did you find out? So, like, oh, it's like every other action film, but different. Like, it's just sort of like, I think it's beyond the technology. I still think it's a very generic action film, and the way the plot moves and all, and sort of like, you know, badass woman makes a sacrifice towards the end and sort of getting to know, you know, like all of this. I don't know, it depends what it does, because sometimes I will go and see something because I think it looks visually interesting. It was the reason I wanted to go and see Valerian when no one else did. People walked out during our screening. It was quite something.
Yeah.
But yeah, last one, Extraction 2. Did you guys watch Extraction? Okay, well, I had the pleasure of reviewing it for the Courier. It's quite something. It's entertaining at the start, and then I just got so dull. Like, it's directed by the Marvel action choreographer, and you can feel that. It's more violent, but after a while, it just becomes very repetitive and very droning. It's sort of like, and it lacks the style and finesse that, like, the John Wick films have, that make it. And it's not as long as a John Wick film either. Yeah, no, I won't be watching it. Chris Hemsworth was good performances in it, which is weird. It feels quite wasted. Do you guys want to do round 2?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Right, round 2, we have scores. So Junkie XL will score Army of the Dead. Michael Giacchino is returning to Marvel to score The Eternals, and Tyler Bates is scoring James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the Suicide Squad one's probably true. Don't know though. What was the first two again?
Junkie XL scoring Army of the Dead, which is Zack Snyder's new film. Michael Giacchino returning to the MCU to score The Eternals.
For Junkie, obviously he's got a working relationship with Snyder because he did Batman vs Superman and then Justice League before Justice League. But I don't know. Army of the Dead seems very Netflix and very low budget and very pieced together. So I don't know. No, I have slight doubts, but I don't know enough about the other two to know if it's those doubts are more.
Is Army of the Dead based on the video game?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
I think
know
it's
nothing of scores, so
We'll talk about this afterwards. I'm just trying like not to say stuff while you guys are.
Oh, so it might be. Okay. I don't believe so in terms of what I've heard, because I know people were originally thinking it was part of the George A. Romero's of the Dead series, because Zack Snyder, of course, did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and then he came out and said it's zombies, but it's not that. So if there was that confusion, I would assume that it isn't. But I don't know.
You guys don't know.
We don't have a clue, I don't think.
I'm awful with music scores. Like, I know nothing.
I would assume the Eternals one is correct, just because that seems like a weird one to make up.
So are we going with the first one?
You thought the Suicide Squad one was plausible.
I've got feeling, not based on facts.
Okay, my vote is for the first one, but I don't know. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like if you think that I'm wrong, then I probably am.
I've got no idea.
You know more about these kind. Should I go with number one? Then? Well, so what was number one?
Junkie XL scoring Army of the Dead.
I think that sounds okay.
I think he's got so much on his plate at the moment that it would be weird for him to be doing this. But I don't know.
When you say that, when you say that, what do you think, George? I know you're not great at
I
music.
have literally no clue. Like, I don't know. The only one I know is like John Williams did Star Wars. Did he do Star Wars?
I mean, that's fair.
Most of them, you know.
Yeah, I need to just up my knowledge in terms of the music side of cinema. Yeah, let's go with that one.
Yeah.
So what have you guys decided on?
I don't know, because now everything's making me doubt my gut instinct, because it's probably wrong. It's not like you're making me doubt it, and it's probably right. No, it's probably wrong. So I'm gonna trust whatever you think, Devon.
Oh no.
You're the most qualified out of us three.
I vote A, and I'm probably wrong, and I don't. I vote
Are we
A.
voting as a group or are we voting individually? Peter.
Oh, we'll do a group.
As a group. Okay, we'll go with number 1 then. A.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are wrong. Junkie XL is scoring Army of the Dead.
Was I right? Was I wrong, I mean?
No, Tyler Bates is scoring the Suicide Squad.
Oh, wow!
Oh, so
But
one
Michael
Eternal.
Giacchino, as far as we know, isn't scoring the Eternals, but no one's been confirmed yet.
Wow, okay.
I knew he'd score, like, he works quite closely with Disney and all these sort of projects. I looked ahead, the Eternals is coming up, but, doesn't have a composer yet, so I was like...
What has he
Michael
composed?
Giacchino.
Because I don't think I would know of him.
Giacchino, The Incredibles 2, Eastons. I think he did some Mission Impossible ones. I'm probably, you probably do know him, I'm just butchering the name. Doctor Strange. God, everything, he's next to Hans Zimmer and sort of getting around. I'll look again. I'm sure you'd know it.
I'll give him a Google.
Sure you do. Sorry.
Again, the name's Italian, and I think I've butchered the pronunciation of it. Matteo, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
He's doing the Batman.
Yeah.
That's
He's
where I
doing
know
that.
him from. He's doing the Batman.
And he did the Spider-Man films, the latest ones for Marvel as well. So he's done a lot for the MCU.
Yeah, he really does do a lot.
So that's fake. But Tyler Bates did the scores to the Guardians films and John Wick. I think he definitely did the first one. I can't remember if he did, the next ones or whatever. So he's worked quite closely with James Gunn, so it didn't come to that much of a surprise. I'm quite interested to see if... James Gunn's been pretty open about production of it, and I think he is sort of incorporating that sort of soundtrack aspect of it that he had for Guardians that the first Suicide Squad tried to imitate. I hope that doesn't get in the way of the score. I hate the sort of when you hire a really good composer and you can't hear it most of the time, or you don't notice it because most of it's songs. It happened to Stephen Price 2 years in a row. The first time was with Suicide Squad, and his score for that's great. And then they hired him for Baby Driver, which is this other soundtrack film. And it's you guys know he literally won an Academy Award for Best Score. This is what you're doing with him. But I'm sure it's easy work for him. Round 3. Superheroes. Sorry if there's a theme. This just happened to be what the theme was over the last few weeks. I know I have a little bit of a bias, but this is just there's so much. Right. Speaking of that Sony Marvel Universe thing, Madam Web film is going to be directed by S.J. Clarkson, who was originally attached to do Star Trek 4. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt are going to appear in a superhero comedy drama thing called Ball and Chain. Mark Guggenheim is to write a screenplay for Jackpot film for Marvel Sony, another Spider-Man character, and David Robert Mitchell is going to do gender bending. So Sorry, not gender bending, genre
Genre
bending
bending.
superhero. It wouldn't surprise me if David Robert Mitchell did a gender bending superhero film. But yeah,
Wait, just those 4?
this is for.
Oh no.
I
feel
don't
like
know
all of
what
those are
that
true.
Jack thing was. I don't know. What was it, Jack?
Ball and
What?
chain.
Oh, was that? I don't.
No,
I've not heard of that.
Oh, sorry, no, the other one.
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
that the
heard.
third one was wrong. The Jackpot one, whatever it was. I
What
know that
made
they're
you
making
say
a
that?
ball and chain show with Emily Blunt and
You know that they are.
yeah.
Oh wow! See, I thought that was really outlandish and thought, "Oh, there's no way." But if you know that that's for sure, then cool. Right.
They're definitely doing that one. They're definitely doing Madam Web. They're definitely doing
Yes.
the last one. The Jackpot one, I know there is a film that's just somebody's writing a screenplay for a Sony film, which people on the internet didn't seem to like that writer. But I don't know if that's the writer, and I don't know if that's the Sony film.
Look at his poker face.
Just emotionless.
But okay.
George,
was
if
that
you think
Jackpot?
free, I'm happy to go free.
Yeah, same.
Let's do it.
Well, Devon, you're quite right. They're all true.
Ah.
Stick with your instincts. Yeah, I was trying to trick you guys out because I thought they all sounded absolutely ridiculous. Especially the Jackpot one.
Yes.
I thought Madam Web was ridiculous. This came out after the Snyder Cut was done, and I didn't think. I was wondering if you guys were going to miss it because it just sort of fell in under the cracks of all of the madness. And it's so weird. I haven't read as many Spider-Man comics as I'd like to, but there's such strange characters to pick. I had to look up Jackpot. I hadn't heard of her at all. I really can't. I don't know what makes her unique. I read her Wikipedia page, and I was sort of she's just a C-list character that was created 10 years ago or whatever. She's not prominent at all in this. I don't get what they're doing. I like the idea of sort of giving side characters, time to shine, but I don't think you can do this. But David Robert Mitchell is doing a superhero genre bending thing. He's very vague about it, but that's basically his filmography, where he's just being very vague about it. It's Under the Silver Lake is how I imagine he talks about films. If you guys have seen it, if you haven't, go and watch it.
Brilliant.
So good. It's Mubi has it. If you guys sign up, they've now put their entire archive on for access if you pay for it or whatever, but it's on that. I'll probably watch it anyway. I really like David Robert Mitchell. I think he's very talented for it. Do you guys have any thoughts on these?
I'm just so excited for David Robert Mitchell to do anything. I'm a bit sad he's doing a superhero film because I want him to do weirder stuff.
Yeah, same actually.
And I hope that he doesn't I feel like every other superhero film is described as genre bending. And after Under the Silver Lake, he may play it safe and get money. And then he can start doing his normal stuff. So I hope it isn't that. I hope he doesn't play it safe. I hope he is as weird. But I know Under the Silver Lake was sort of slammed by critics for being too weird. And I don't know if that will have. I don't know. I hope it's good.
I was kind of hoping he'd go back to doing a horror film after Under the Silver Lake, just because Under the Silver Lake has amazing horror elements, without even considering It Follows, which is also brilliant. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend his entire filmography, all 3 films. I haven't seen his first one, but
I still need to see that.
I have to assume it's good. Okay, there's Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, Bonji. Right, so the premise of this, if you guys don't know, is that they're a married couple that are having a dispute or whatever. And then I think they have superpowers, but the superpowers only work when they can reconcile with each other. and that's the moving force is that they have to serve. It's sort of like marriage counseling, but it's sort of like if you guys don't get back together, you won't be able to save the world. Or
So it's
whatever.
kind of like reverse Hancock.
Yeah.
It's kind
yeah.
of like Marriage Story. Um,
Two marriage, true
I'm
story.
sold. I'm sold. I want to go watch this right now.
Same.
It's such a bad message to send. Like,
It's really terrible.
like I know it's sort of like, oh yeah, it's important to sort of do the counseling and all before divorce, but you know, like, I wouldn't force two people to be together. This is sort of like an apology. It's like, this is definitely a film though. I've included on this list. I'm assuming I saw it and thought it was a film. It's a Netflix thing, I think. I want to say it's a Netflix film. So I might end up watching it anyway if I don't have to pay for it. Yeah.
It's
Wow.
interesting that they're pairing up to do another film so soon up. I mean, Jungle Cruise hasn't even come out yet, and that's their like big
Yeah.
Emily Blunt, Dwayne Johnson doing stuff blockbuster, and now they're doing
Can't forget
another.
about Jack Whitehall. He's in that as well.
Yeah.
Why has he been completely cut from the trailers? Because I thought he was in it, and I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, I guess he wasn't. I looked, and he's third build. I don't get it.
I haven't seen any of the trailers for Jungle Cruise.
Oh
It looks.
But yeah, I saw the poster and I was like, that's not really my sort of thing.
If you saw the poster, you saw the trailer.
Yeah. It was really just like on a boat in the swamp in the jungle or whatever. It's like, I think that's everything I need to know about the swamp. And the Disney logo.
Yeah.
It just sort of sums it all up. S.J. Clarkson's quite... I mean, I suppose if you were to get someone, why not? It is a him, I think, isn't it? Yeah, I think S.J. Clarkson's a guy. I forgot the chat.
No.
Isn't it?
woman.
Oh, really?
British
Okay.
television director.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense, actually, because I was looking at her at the time, their filmography, and like before Star Trek 4 sort of fell apart, developmental sort of thing, she did episodes for Jessica Jones, which is a Netflix Marvel series that's over now, but the first season it's incredible. I think so,
It's
anyway.
brilliant.
Yeah, like, you need to watch it, especially if you want David Tennant as a villain. He's just oh, he's wicked in it. He's
like
so good.
wow.
He's probably like one of my favorite live action villains.
Yeah.
He's just the best.
God,
Wow.
and
Great.
and Kristen Ritter's so good as Jessica Jones. It's so sad to sort of see them being underserved. And like Charlie Cox, Daredevil as well. God, they had something. Anyway, last round, remakes. I've called it remakes. I'm making sure that they're all remakes here. Close enough. Close enough to all remakes.
I just don't trust you anymore, Peter.
One of them sort of like
All
not
gonna
a
be false.
remake, but I didn't really know what else to call it. I didn't want sort of like all remakes, but this one. So anyway, it's pretty much a remake slash reboot. I'll go for. So Karen Gillan is or getting in talks for a Pirates of the Caribbean reboot that would see Johnny Depp out. An animated Transformers film is coming from, oh shit, I can't read my own writing. Josh Looney? I don't know. Josh. It's coming from Josh.
There's a Josh somewhere.
Don't Tell the Babysitter is Dead remake is coming, apparently. A Lure of the Flies film, but from Warner Brothers, is being written by Patrick Nash, who did Chaos Walking and The Monster Calls, and is being directed by Luca, I can't say his name, Guadagnino.
Oh, yeah.
The one who did the
Call Me By Your Name.
Suspiria. And
Yeah. And that. And New Line has regained the rights to Friday the 13th, bringing series reboot closer.
I'm confident that 1, 2, and 4 are correct.
I'm just confident about one. I'm not confident about any of the others.
I'm going to think they're all false because Peter's just.
Look at that poker face again. Just like
Yeah, there's definitely an animated Transformers prequel happening. It's set on Cybertron. I don't know the other details, but I assume that's correct. Patrick Ness is definitely writing Lord of the Flies with Call Me By Your Name guy directing. There's definitely Pirates of the Caribbean with Karen Gillan. Johnny Depp is sort of out, but now he's a bit back in because he's popular again. Nobody really knows.
I kind of hope they make it so that he's a side character again.
Like it should be in the first. Yeah. I haven't heard about Don't Tell the Babysitter.
Same.
I haven't heard about Friday the 13th. If I had to guess, I would assume that Friday the 13th is the one, just because I haven't heard of Don't Tell the Babysitter, so I might have glossed over that.
And I don't think they can remake Friday the 13th for like a 15th time. Unless they really want to. Which isn't...
You can only make it.
It's more a hope than a no.
Yeah.
What was the exact headline for the Friday the 13th?
None of these are exact headlines, by the way.
Okay.
I've just sort of like scribbled descriptions. New Line regain rights to the Friday the 13th franchise, bringing series reboot closer.
I don't know who made any of the others.
I mean, when did they bring out the last one?
Was it?
I know it was a.
It was
Michael
a remake.
Bay's company who did it.
I know when it was released, but I'm not sure I should tell you guys or not. I don't know if that helps too much.
I think it had Rooney Mara in, and I think it was before Rooney Mara was really a thing, which happened around 2010. So I'd assume up to maybe a bit before 2010, maybe 2008 to 2010. I don't know.
Maybe we should go for the... I don't know.
I think the last one.
Which was?
The Friday the 13th one. I think that's false.
I haven't heard anything about it, and I feel like I would have done.
Yeah, I think I would have probably heard something about it as well.
Shall we go with that?
What was the third headline?
Deep
The third one?
Yeah.
The third one was Lord of the Flies is...
Sorry, not the third. The one about Don't Kill the Babysitter.
Don't Tell the Babysitter is Dead remake is in the works.
That could be.
I think that one.
I'm sort of leaning towards that one.
Yeah, because like Friday the 13th, the last one was in like 2010, and then they usually just churn those out all the time, so they're probably thinking,
yeah. And also, on a more meta basis, I feel like if Peter was making up a headline, doing about rights and studios would be a lot more. If he made that up, it's very well made up. Is the way I'll put it.
I feel like Peter's got a brilliant poker face, but like his body, like he's got poker like tics, like all his like body moving around, showing that he's lying. He's below the
We just see him sink, so it's just like his chin's at the top of the screen. I think the Babysitter's false.
Yeah.
Is that the final answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're on. It was Friday the 13th.
We thought about it 2 minutes.
I made it up. They have not regained the rights to Friday the 13th. The legal battle is hopefully going to come to an end in June. And that's why no new Friday the 13th films have been released since 2009, and that there was never a sequel to their remake. They have only rebooted the franchise once. All previous entries are part of one continuous continuity, if you want to call it that. It's being a little generous.
15, same number.
When was the reboot released?
2009. and it had I suppose I can't remember if I really married. I'm sure it did. Now that you said it,
She was the final girl.
yeah, it sounds like that. And who else was in it? I think Katie Cassidy was in it, and she's a bit of like a modern scream queen. She was also she was in the Nightmare Before. So not Nightmare Before, but Nightmare on Elm Street remake as well.
Okay.
Before becoming Black Canary in the TV shows. And who else was it? The guy from Supernatural is in it. The younger one. I don't know if you guys have seen Supernatural. I've only seen like 2 episodes. But anyway, one of the characters is in it. So yeah, no, they've had this whole like legal dispute, and there's like a completed. I'm pretty sure there's a completed Friday the 13th film that they've just been sitting on because they didn't have the rights to release it. And this legal battle's been going on for a lot of years now, and looks like it's going to come to the end, but hasn't quite got there yet. But yeah, Karen Gillan, Pirates of the Caribbean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think she did like a Ghost Pirates episode in Doctor Who at the time.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And that's what came to my mind because she had like the whole hat on and everything. Like in that episode, she sort of like took charge of the whole situation. I could sort of see that as the sort of leading pirates in the new one. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Johnny Depp comes back because, of course, the whole situation with Amber Heard has got a lot more. I don't want to say complicated, but more evidence has come to light, and I think people are reevaluating their.
He's a lot more
opinion.
favoured in the public eye.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like just kind of funny if they play it all out, sort of like The Last Jedi, where instead of looking for Luke, it's just her looking for Captain Jack Sparrow, and then needs to get like 5 seconds of screen time and like a massive paycheck.
Did you guys watch the last one? Zalzar's Revenge, or no? I haven't.
Wait, no, that was like the really cool name. Then they dropped it for like Salad's Revenge or something.
I think
in America it was called Dead Men Don't Tell No Tales. That's everywhere else, it was Salazar's Revenge, or at least in Europe and England.
Dead Men Tell No Tales is such a cool title.
Yeah,
that'd be great. I just like what I remember from the promotion for it was zombie sharks. And I was like, yeah. Like, it's one of those, like, one of those movies is sort of like, it's going to be really stupid, and you just sort of like go anyway because you think it's going to be like fun. If you have the time, you'll go and see it. That was
I thought Salazar as a villain was pretty cool looking. Like the whole sort of floating hair ghost thing was pretty cool looking.
Is that on the poster? I actually don't really remember the trailers to it.
I think so. Yeah. It was the point where Javier Bardem had just done No Country for Old Men, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's the ultimate villain." So he was the villain in everything for about 3 years.
Pretty much.
It didn't do too well financially. Lost Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
I think it did all right, but I think this is why they're now considering doing the reboot as the driving force. And also, I think they just need more women in the franchise. There's the rumor going about that Johnny Depp didn't want a female villain for the 5th one, and that like they were originally going to have to, and then they changed it to Salazar at some point. But yeah, also we got animated Transformers by Josh. I haven't seen the Transformers film ever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, I think I've got Bumblebee recorded, and I want that to be the first one I watch.
It can sort of be the only one.
I mean, you can just watch a montage of like explosion videos on YouTube, and that's
it.
Yeah. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of the Michael Bay one with Shia LaBeouf, but
I mean, the first one isn't bad. The first Michael Bay Transformers. It's messy and it's Michael Bay, but
yeah,
it's sort of his thing where he makes it very pretty for what it is, and it sort of has a coherent enough plot that it's watchable.
Yeah.
Then I watched Revenge of the Fallen. I vowed never to watch another Transformers film. Skipped like 3 or 4 or however many there were in between, and then Haley Steinfeld and Travis Knight were like, "Devon, come back." So I did.
Wait, would you guys go and watch an animated Transformers film?
No.
No? Okay.
I wouldn't be super excited about it. No, I don't think so.
George?
I mean, I wouldn't be like, wake up in the morning like, today's the day I get to see anime Transformers. Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my memory of Transformers is the animated series. Like, I think I remember watching bits and pieces of that just whenever it was on, when I was like 4 or 5. So for me, Transformers is an animated thing. Like when I think of Transformers, I think of that sort of art style. So I might be a little bit more interested, but I don't know. I don't think I'm invested in the world to go and see it.
Yeah.
I watched the animated ones when I was a kid, and I really liked kind of the bits and pieces that I saw, usually around friends' houses and stuff. So yeah, I kind of, which is why I watched the Michael Bay stuff, and then didn't see any, and then kind of with Bumblebee, I was like, okay, well, I'll come back, and I came back, and I was like, it was a fine film, but I'm fine with this being my last Transformers film, because even though it was a very good film, I realized I just wasn't really invested in Transformers as much as I thought I was, and I just sort of let it drift away.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if there's a Bumblebee 2, I won't see it. Bumblebee was fine. I'm happy to leave it there.
Cool. Don't Tell the Babysitter is Dead remake. I haven't seen the original. Have you guys seen the original? You guys know what it is?
No?
No.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, is this one of those things that's like a cult classic and everybody's watched, like Freaky Friday, and it's just like me that hasn't seen it? Okay, apparently none of us have seen it, so
I just googled it and I can see the trailers. I can see just the poster, and it looks so 90s. It looks just. I'm gonna quickly. I can't screen share. Look up the poster for Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead, and you know everything you need to about not only the film but the exact year that it came out.
Oh my
So many
god.
things to type out as well.
Like, why are they remaking it? It's got like 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. It looks awful.
Why is her feet in the air but in the ground?
It's a Tarantino film.
It's a Tarantino. I kind of know what you mean, actually, now that you say that.
I was just referring to the film.
Her outfits are kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie. The weird like patterns, black and white polo neck thing that she's got going on.
I mean, that's just like a really ineffective way of burying a body.
Just the feet out of the ground, yeah. Wow. Cool.
Well, I'm there day one for the.
For Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead. Is that it? Is that the name?
yeah, I missed
Mum
out
the
Mum
Babysitter's
when I was writing down my notes.
That's what for us. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Clearly. Lord of the Flies remake. If you guys read the book, watched any previous adaptations, excited?
I watched an old thing and I know of it from English. Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick Ness is good. Luca, what's his face, is good. They could make it very interesting, or they could make it very studio, and I don't, because obviously it's all about kids and kids kind of being very nasty. So they could take it a very interesting way and kind of really explore the kind of breaking down of the psychology of these kids and make it really sort of nasty and weird and interesting. Or they could just sort of make it very, very packaged and ready for an English lesson.
Yeah. I suppose the only thing that really interests me, I like Patrick Ness's A Monster Calls, and I really like the adaptation that they did of it a few years ago. If you haven't seen that, that's great. That's probably one of the best Felicity Jones performances. I think he even came out the same year as Rogue One, and it's just like, she's so much better in this than Rogue One. Although it's not her fault in Rogue One, I don't blame her. Yeah. No, I don't think I could see it. I was going to say the next one's the Friday the 13th, but it's not real. Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
Yeah. I've actually got another few bits and pieces If you guys want to hear them.
One more round.
No, they're just sort of like
Oh, okay.
scraggled bits and
Yeah.
pieces I can like fit in. Good, Bad, and Undead, a new supernatural dark fantasy film starring, is it Peter Dinkley or Peter Dinklage?
Oh yeah.
Dinklage.
And Jason
Jason
Momoa.
Yeah.
And Dinklage is playing Van Helsing, and Momoa's playing a vampire, and I think it's like a monster hunting sort of film. But it's called Good, Bad, and Undead, and there's no comma between good and bad, so it's just Good, Bad, and Undead. Thoughts?
A great title.
I hate the title.
It's a controversial film already.
I feel like Peter Dinklage, since Game of Thrones, he has made he has been in 3 billboards and then only bad movies.
He was in Infinity War. Wait, no, that ended. That was before Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but not even after Game of Thrones. Just in general, I feel like because he was in what was that? Pixels, the Adam Sandler film.
That
Which
was
is
a
terrible.
brilliant film. Cinematic masterpiece.
Oh, he's been in bits and pieces, but he's never really carried a film.
No.
Which is
So
really
not a
weird.
good film.
He's won like a bunch of Emmys and stuff. Like
Mm.
he's got like the talent and stuff, and then he's a recognizable face. So just not.
This could be it.
The Emmy goes to.
Honestly, this could be the next big franchise. Remember when this was like a fad for a while? Where we had like Snow White and the Huntsman. And like
yeah.
and the Van Helsing film with Hugh Jackman and
That is an act. I actually love
Kate
that.
Beckinsale. Yeah, just what else was there? Hansel and Gretel. They did a lot of
Hansel and
these.
Gretel Witch Hunters.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
like so many of these, and they're not connected. They just like everyone just got together and was like, you know what people need.
I mean, they're not
Classic
connected that you know of. That you know
Yeah.
of. There's
Like-
a massive cinematic universe.
Yeah. So this could be it. This could be the revival. Although Maleficent suggests not. But yeah, God, this was a nice age ago. Hamilton coming to Disney Plus on July 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
Very clever of them, and makes a lot of sense. Because like the fact they're not putting that in cinemas is insane when you think about what the cinema company is losing by not putting that in cinemas. And then you're like, hang on a second. Theatres aren't making any money at the moment. They're desperate for anything. So, yeah.
Kat, you're big into musicals. Are you excited for this?
Oh, I feel like I've never seen, out of us 4, I'm probably the most into musicals, but out of like musical fans, definitely not as much as Alex. Like, I wish she was here to like say, because when it's like when we messaged our chat saying like, look, this is happening, she was like, oh my God. So I think people are, it seems, I don't have Disney Plus either, so I think it seems like people who have it are definitely like really excited for it. I possibly think it might even be something that makes people get Disney Plus. Because of the like, it's such a unique sort of a thing to do. I feel as though, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's not like a huge amount of content on Disney Plus at the minute. I've got it for a month, so like the free trial, and then a month, mainly to watch Clone Wars and some other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I spent most of my time on it watching old episodes of The Simpsons. Like, I could just spend ages watching The Simpsons, the Fox content on Disney.
I haven't wanted to watch The Simpsons yet because, like, apparently there's like a frame issue. Like,
Yeah,
they're cutting out bits of the scenes and
they're fixing the aspect ratio soon. They made an announcement a while ago, but yeah, I could see them do it because they had The Mandalorian for a while, and people sort of trained in for that because it was like a weekly thing, and then Clone Wars as well. For its final season was weekly for the most part. So I do think they need just that little bit of a thing. They've been doing sing-alongs, right? Hasn't that been oh, if you guys know, right, okay, I think they've been doing like sing-alongs where they get like Ariana Grande or whatever, and they all just like sing along to like Disney songs, and it's like a family sort of thing. So I could sort of see that being like Hamilton being an extension of the sing-along sort of movement. I mean, like, that could be a really interesting thing to do, because, like, you know, when they do, like, they brought back, what was it, The Greatest Showman into theaters, and they made it like the karaoke rendition of it. You could do Hamilton, and then like
Yeah.
the karaoke Hamilton part of Disney Plus, where people, I mean, they could do that with all of their stuff if they wanted to. They could just go through their library and make karaoke edits of their.
Yeah.
Disney needs to start listening here, people. This
is a radio show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any interest personally. Like, I wouldn't re-get Disney Plus to watch Hamilton. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think this shows that Disney have understood how you do streaming, because of course Disney, for the most part, have been operating in kind of the cinematic world, where it's all about the mainstream and making films which cater to the most people possible. That's why Disney films are the way they are, and the way they've kind of got nothing even remotely risky. They've got nothing kind of even LGBT or anything political or anything. It's why the First Order in the new Star Wars aren't even kind of fascist, because that is possibly like risky. All of their stuff has to be catering to everyone. But the streaming space is very, very different to that. The streaming space is all about finding very specific niches. I think I've talked about this on the radio show before, but like, you look at Netflix's shows, they're all like very targeted to a very specific niche. And it might be a particular country, it might be a particular type of people, it might be a particular interest, it might be a particular age demographic. Like The Crown is a show they made so they could get old people. Like that show is all to get like old people in England and possibly some of the other kind of Commonwealth countries who are like very into the royal family. Tall Girl is all about trying to get, you know, people who are tall, because obviously in a Netflix algorithm they had, we don't have enough tall people who are females within this particular area. Like, it's ridiculous, but it makes a lot of sense, because they're trying to get as many people and then make them ambivalent and kind of hooked into the service so they don't cancel. That's why they don't have shows that last more than 2 seasons usually, because they get 1 season to get the word out, the next season to get people in, and then they've got those people. So the fact that Disney have got Hamilton and they're paying so much money to get Hamilton on their thing means that they understand that Hamilton is obviously quite a niche thing, but it's the thing that will bring just enough people who are kind of fans of the musical to get Disney Plus, and then their kids will be on it, and then they're hooked in, because there's no way you can take Disney away from kids.
Yeah, definitely. Tom Cruise and Elon Musk, action film in space.
Oh,
wow. I don't get it. I don't see the point of doing it. I mean, like, you know, like 2001: Space Odyssey did a really great job of it, and that was back in the 60s. I don't think you need to go into space to make it look like you're in space now, or to simulate the physics of being in space. I don't know. I could sort of see like why Elon Musk is doing this, because I think it would please his ego to do this. And I think it would also please Tom Cruise's ego to do this, as like the stunt person that has to do all of it, even though it's very reckless, and like he's well into his 50s now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being really cynical about this. What do you guys think?
Well, does someone else want to go first? Because I've talked a lot.
I don't have much to say about it, really.
I feel like it's in The Mummy. Tom Cruise did that stunt where he was like in a plane, and there was like them all floating around and stuff, and they actually did that. I feel like they're trying to do that, but on like a massive scale for like a 2-hour long film.
So
Yeah.
you just remind me of the
trailer.
IMAX, yeah, the trailer.
So they uploaded a trailer for The Mummy, and they've got the sound mixing wrong, and they'd missed out some channels. So usually when you see that trailer, it's like this incredibly intense scene of the music crescendoing and the wind sound effects and the smashing of the plane tearing apart. But in this particular trailer, you just hear Tom Cruise screaming to the void. There's no other sound, just Tom Cruise is harrowed wailing. It's brilliant.
Because the back of the plane or whatever's burst open, so it's all the air pushing everything out, and he's holding on to the love interest or whatever, and they let's go, and she's and it's just us, just
The Mummy, is it? The Mummy trailer.
Yeah.
The Mummy IMAX trailer.
I think, I found it. Oh wow!
I think this happened again with something else. I have a feeling they botched this twice.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't remember what the second film was, but I really do think it was
How can you
Hellboy or
watch
something.
that? That's insane.
It was so funny, and it stayed up for a good while, and now it's well, once it's on the internet, it's there forever. Honestly, more people are going to watch that than the actual Mummy film.
Yeah, I certainly did. I saw that 20 times. I didn't see The Mummy yet.
So good.
I think the thing about Tom Cruise is his films are very specific in that the stunt is basically the hook of the film. His films are more like stunt shows that you see in a theme park or a circus than they are actual films. Half the reason why you go to see a Tom Cruise film is to see how he pulls off the wild stunt, and so much of the marketing is centered around that too. Just think of the Mission Impossible where he splattered his leg on a building. That was all over every celebrity talk show, him talking about that and slowing down the clip frame by frame and chatting about it. And I mean, you think about it, Mission Impossible was sort of failing as a franchise in Mission Impossible 3. People kind of look back on that as a really popular Mission Impossible film, but it didn't make much money. And it was Mission Impossible 4, and in particular, the hype around him running up and down the building in Dubai, which was the thing which kind of brought the public eye to that franchise again and made it make money. So it, as much as I feel like the stunt choreography and all that, it could be done a lot better just using wires and CGI. I feel like they're doing it in space because it will be worth that just for the outreach of everyone talking about how they made a film in space.
Yeah. You'd have to wonder how profitable it's going to be in the end of the day, because you can't rely on that solely to do the marketing. You're still going to have to pay to do all the posters, the trailers, the talk shows, especially the talk shows. If this is the thing, then you need to get everywhere, and you're going to need to pay for him to be everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. I think it really depends on the marketing as well as its reception, I think. It could make a lot of money and still lose a lot of money, which is the sad reality of a lot of films, actually, when you sort of look how all of the money is cut now. But yeah.
And I guess
I feel like a film set in space, which is actually in space, can't really be that exciting due to how serious the parameters of where they are doing it in. It's going to be kind of like Gravity, where from what I remember, it was a decent film, but nothing really happened. It's just some people floating around in space.
Gravity did make a lot of money. It made $700 million.
Wow.
And last time I checked, they didn't do that in space. So
they didn't, but I
doubt this is all going to be up in space. It would be too impractical, because you need to do all the makeup and everything as well, and you need to get the camera crew. This isn't just about getting Tom Cruise up, unless you want to get him and maybe a couple of assistants, and the scenes are sort of when you get astronauts doing a live stream on their laptop or whatever, and it's just like that. If you just have Tom Cruise in space doing that, and then the rest of the films I don't know. We don't know. There's so much we don't know about. We don't even know the genre. Like this could really just be like a slow burning.
Tom
sort of,
Cruise rom-com in space.
Yeah.
With
Honestly,
Elon
it's like-
Musk. Elon Musk is the love
you guys-
interest.
Love interest, yeah.
Seen the Futurama episode? Where it's a parody of 2001: Space Odyssey.
No.
Oh, it's so good. Well, it's basically Bender the robot falls in love with the spaceship's AI, and it's like that. I could sort of see them doing that. Oh my god, that would be great if it's just Tom Cruise falling in love with the spaceship's AI.
Yeah.
Like her in space.
Yeah.
Although it would be a Tesla model spaceship, just.
Yeah. Some really exciting news. Dakota Johnson is joining Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry, Darling, which is going to be a utopian or a psychological thriller set in a 1950s utopia civilization in like the deserts of America. I forgot. There's a big long description of it.
That's the one with Shia LaBeouf and Florence Pugh
And Chris Pine.
and Chris
Which
Pine.
is an already incredible cast. I
Yeah.
love Chris Pine and Florence Pugh. I'm very excited for this. And Dakota Johnson should be a nice sort of addition to it. Did you guys see Booksmart?
No.
I did.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, cool. So that was Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, and it came out just last summer, nearly a year ago. I have a feeling she has another film lined up that's not this, that was announced before this. I'll need to hunt it out for the next live stream. But I think she's great. I don't know what you guys think about her as a director, but I think she's, like a lot of actors are trying to make this shift to directing. And some of them are just kind of dull, but I think I don't know, I think she has a really good lens in what she's doing. I think she really knows what she wants, and I think she could get the most, like Booksmart, I was thinking of the writing and the performances, and the director is like a driving force in getting those performances. And if you could get like, for me, it's one of those ones where it's like everybody stands out. Like I can remember all the characters very distinctly, which makes this very exciting for a psychological thriller, and to have like already phenomenal actors, not just sort of like up and comers. So I'm very excited to see her direct psychological thriller. You guys excited?
Yeah.
I really like Booksmart, so I'm happy to see what she does next.
It sounds exciting from the way you've described it, even though I haven't seen Booksmart.
It's very good. If you've got, I think it's on Prime at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Along with The Farewell. Watch
Yeah.
The Farewell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are like my top films from last year.
Wow.
Please watch them. I rewatched The Farewell this week. It's so good. Oh my god. Oh god, so good. I'm just getting annoyed at the Oscars again. It's just
Put those
like,
thoughts out of your mind.
like remembering how good all these female directors were last year, and then how much they got snubbed. It was so sad. So that was like, Space isn't over, because Phil Lord and Chris Miller are directing Ryan Gosling in his second astronaut film.
Second man.
Yeah. I think this is based on the author of the Martian. I think this is based on another one of his books.
Oh yeah.
One that he hasn't released yet. He's still writing it, but he sold the rights before it. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah. I don't know what to think.
Andy Weir, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I really like Ryan Gosling, and I like Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I'm not a huge fan of space films. I don't really know how this is going to come together, because Phil Lord and Chris Miller immediately, it makes me think of like quirky comedy. But I don't know. I think as a first man, I'm struggling to envision.
So is
this
it
going
not
to look
a
like.
comedy?
I don't think they've said what it is. Just that
Yeah.
it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller,
If
which I
it's-
usually associate with comedy.
If it's
'Cause-
similar to The Martian, I'm interested, because I love The Martian. That was just. I don't know if they'll go for the same comedy level as The Martian did, but like, if it's anything like it, then yeah.
Because I think Andy Weir, the way he writes is usually sort of quite bouncy and quippy anyway. and the fact that Phil Lord and Chris Miller, Phil Lord, Chris Miller,
Yeah.
they kind of, I think they're fantastic at what they do, and Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys is just hilarious. He's just incredible. So if all of those people play to their strengths, I feel like the fact they all have the same strength, it would be weird if they don't all play to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope they do. I want to see Ryan Gosling in another comedy.
Cal?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask, is The Nice Guys the only Ryan Gosling like proper comedy role?
I mean, it's the only one I've seen him in.
I think of La La Land as kind of like comedy as well, like a
Oh.
musical comedy.
Yeah.
And I think his role in that's very comedic.
Yeah.
I've searched Ryan Gosling. Sorry.
God.
I'm trying to think of what else he's in. I know he's in tons of, right, he's in The Notebook, Blade Runner
Crazy
2049.
Crazy Stupid Love, apparently. Isn't
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I need to.
I haven't seen Drive, but I know it's not a comedy.
That's definitely not.
Yeah.
it?
It's like, it's got a similar premise to Baby Driver, but it's not the same. I need to watch it. I've got it. And
Is The Big
that's the way I
Short
watch
a
it.
comedy?
Comedic
Kinda.
moments.
Comedic
And he
moments.
is he's a very funny guy. I don't know why he doesn't do
Yeah.
more
Funny
comedies.
guy.
But he's also really good at doing the serious guy.
He
Like
really
in
is.
Blade Runner, he's great.
I think he just wants an Oscar, and he knows comedies don't get Oscars
Mm.
for whatever reason.
I feel like he's sort of in the Brad Pitt situation where he's too pretty to get an
Mm.
Oscar. People need to, like, Brad Pitt took so long for people to realize, oh, this guy is actually a character actor and not just like a male love interest. And I feel like Ryan Gosling's sort of in that situation too, and he's such a good actor, but people see him more as a, I don't know, The Notebook didn't do well for his career as
Yeah.
much as it got in popularity.
I watched Interview with the Vampire for the first time last night, and Brad Pitt is so good.
Yeah.
I love him.
Right.
Love him. And Kristen Dunst as a kid actress.
Right.
So
Right.
good.
She's very
Oh my
I
god.
haven't seen it. I haven't seen
Very
it.
good.
Oh, it's on Prime as well. Sorry, just well, you know, while we get the stream discount, I thought I might as well. Yeah, watch that. What else? We've got New Mutants redid as well. A lot of speculation that they were going to like put it out on video on demand on something like Hulu, because it just like, I mean, let's be honest here, this was meant to come out in 2018.
Imagine if it's just really good.
I hope it's good. Like, what did you guys think of the last trailer for New Mutants? Like back when they thought it was going to come out in April.
It looks like a shock horror to me. It looks like one of those horror movies which makes you jump because it can't make you scared.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I know what you mean.
Okay, well, I actually quite enjoyed it. So, I don't know, I just sort of was like, I get what you mean. I didn't think it was going to be scary. I just sort of thought it was going to be like adrenaline action and have those sort of shock moments to sort of keep that sort of thing going, while also having like pseudo supernatural element to it in the asylum. So I was actually sort of like, part of me is like, I'm interested to see what it's like now. Like, I'm definitely going to go and see it when it's actually out. And at the minute it's dated for the end of August. So it's competing with Wonder Woman 1984 around that time.
And I think it's French Dispatch as well.
Oh yeah.
Still, wow. Okay.
August now.
Right. The Green Knight didn't get redated, did it? They officially
No.
took it off back at, right. I can remember if they decided on something and I missed it. Yeah, speaking of redating, Black Widow is going to come out supposedly on October 20th in the UK, which is going to be a little bit before it comes out in America. I'm not sure if you guys are interested in this, but just getting all the news I could find. Josephine Decker Shirley with Elizabeth Moss got a new poster.
Yeah.
No? Did you guys not see it? It's okay. It's a new film based on Shirley Jackson, who's a famous horror writer, or was a famous horror writer, known for doing The Haunting of Hill House, and Elizabeth Moss is going to be playing her in this biopic, which is really cool, I think, especially since like this is obviously coming off of the TV show, but then this is also like Elizabeth Moss following up from The Invisible Man, which is fantastic. I think you can get it properly now on digital and stuff. So if you have some spare time and want a great horror film, I'd recommend it. It's fantastic. It's so good. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is going to direct her first film called Mother Nature, which is a horror film, and it's going to have like a climate crisis sort of theme to it.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then finally, Back to the Future 2 was heavily censored by Netflix, I think, or on Netflix by Universal for what they consider to be explicit or adult material. I've never seen the Back to the Future sequels, which I think might be blasphemous at this point. So I have no idea what they could possibly have edited out, and it's so great trying to imagine what they edited out.
There was the very hardcore sex scene. That could have been the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
There's
I
quite
can
a
guess what they
strange
might have
news.
taken out. I think I can guess.
I can't, I
But-
really don't know. This one's still in the future, right?
Yeah.
We're like
Yeah.
in the past now.
Well, in
then.
like 2019.
Yeah. Okay. And then the third one's set in the Wild West.
Yeah.
Okay. I've only seen the first one.
You should definitely watch them, Peter.
I've been meaning to. I keep adding them onto Netflix watch list. I'm really bad at watching films.
Says the host of the FilmSoc Radio.
Yeah, just like no, I'll try my best. I mean, Interview with a Vampire, I did that. So.
And that is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys not have like lists that just keep building and just like
It never
there's stuff
ends.
that like there's stuff that you're planning to watch and then like the list gets bigger and you just continuously don't watch stuff. Well, this is basically what's happened, and there's like a lot of stuff where I actually own the DVDs of them and I just haven't watched them. It's motivating myself to do it. It's very hard, even when you have nothing else on. But yeah, I think that's all news. Do you guys want to just hop into charts? Because we forgot to do that at the start.
Sure.
I don't think it's very exciting. Like, I really don't think it's changed much in the past few weeks. So Google Play at the minute, number 10 is Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Number 9 is Knives Out. 8 is Frozen 2. 7 is Jojo Rabbit. 6 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Number 5 is Sonic the Hedgehog. 4 is Jumanji: Next Level. 3 is Bad Boys for Life. 2 is The Gentleman. And number 1 is 1917, which just came out this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so The Gentleman's been really popular.
Has that been up for a few weeks?
Yeah, it's been in the like top 3 for ages now. Like display of Star Wars and stuff. Like it's one of those things. Like I think most people like Guy Ritchie films and then just like don't really go and see them in cinemas, but then watch it tons at home. I think King Arthur had a similar sort of thing. Whereas they're like, oh, it wasn't that well received, I make that much money, and then everyone just sort of like it slowly built up a bit of a following of like this is just like a really fun, dumb film that you'll watch whenever it's on TV. Did you guys see The Gentleman?
No.
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema.
Oh, what did you think?
I quite liked it. Like, I think it's my first Guy Ritchie film. Like after I saw that, I went and saw, was it Snatch or Snitch?
Snatch.
Snatch. But yeah, they're definitely very similar films, and I thought it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, I always have fun. I really like his Sherlock Holmes films.
Oh
I
yeah,
think they're really good.
yeah, those are good as well.
I prefer them to the series, to be honest.
Yeah.
I prefer the Victorian setting, and I sort of like the steampunk one. And the first one had like a bit of a ghostly sort of vibe, like pseudo ghost thing. That was cool. And The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was fun.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
I was actually quite sad that there's not going to be more of them. I really like the
Yeah.
cast as well. Alicia Vikander, Henry Cavill, and Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either.
Definitely
Really?
check out that one. It's
Recommend.
I'm
great.
pretty sure we did that for FilmSoc this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year, I think.
Oh, was it last year? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Jumanji: Next Level. I like the first one, but I just
Same.
yeah.
Yeah, the
I
fact-
think the fact that I remember asking you guys, are you excited for the new one when it was coming out? And you guys were like, yeah. And I was like, so have you seen it? And you were like, no.
Well,
It's in that perfect level of, oh yeah, I want to see that. Oh, I don't want to go to the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
the first time I saw it was just like for a friend's birthday or something like that. You know, like I wasn't planning on going myself, so it was more like, oh, I was sort of like surprised at that. This is pretty good. And Jack Black's great in it, and Karen Gillan's great in it. So, I mean, I'll probably watch it eventually. I'm sure it'll be on like Netflix at some point.
I mean, probably like the best bit of it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Danny DeVito. That was amazing. But I just, it kind of just felt like it just reused a lot of jokes from the first one, which was kind of bad.
Yeah, I could sort of see that happening. I think Aquafina's in it as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey it's in Sonic have been holding, so number 5 and 6 pretty steady for last. Well, which I think is actually pretty good. I don't know, George, you like Sonic, right? tell us all about Sonic. This is your moment, George.
But I'm happy Sonic's doing quite well at the moment because I want them to make another one. I mean, it's not like the first one was high quality content, but it just means I'll get more Jim Carrey on the screen just playing that character because he was so good in it, in the role. And like Ben Schwartz, who voiced Sonic in the first one, he wants to come back to the role, and I think Jim Carrey said he would as well. And like there was that cut at the end of him like in full Eggman costume, and it just looked great. And like I just want more. It's not a good film, but it's just
yeah. We all have that. We all have a franchise like that. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say there. So let's wrap up the stream, I guess. I think we've been going for quite a while now anyway.
About 2 hours, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for everyone for joining us. And thank you to Kat and George for coming in last second, and for Devon for weathering his technical difficulties to get here. I'm sorry that we had to delay as well. We had technical difficulties on our side as well that we still don't know what went wrong. But yeah, is there anything else that you guys want to sound or prop up, or whatever the expression is?
I just think it's what timeline are we in? That we stopped for 2 weeks and Trolls 2 is like trolling cinemas over banning studios. Tenet, the most like extreme trailer of the century, is premiering on Fortnite. And then there was one other bit of news. I was just like, what's happening?
We're in the
Oh my God.
timeline. What?
You know what we didn't talk about, and I had on my main thing, Taika Waititi doing a new Star Wars film.
Oh yeah.
That was like one of my, I'm sorry guys, I had on like the main list, and then I think I went straight from Tenet to Scoob.
You just really wanted to talk about Scoob.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Do you guys want to talk about that briefly, or we could do it in the next show if you guys want?
Don't mind.
I don't mind.
Is there any more Star Wars coming up? We could do like a Star Wars show.
If we look at the TV shows, we could do
yeah.
a new feature of Star Wars. Because we've lost the other one, by the way. That's sort of got lost in the Purge in Order
Yeah,
66.
Maybe
As in lost
a Star
shows
Wars
that we
episode.
didn't record or something. Like just
I think I'm not sure if we did record it or we recorded it and it just like, I don't know, corrupted or whatever. I don't know what happened. I think it was around January time we lost a couple of them around
Sorry,
then. Because
you spoke while I was talking, but finish what you were saying, Peter. Sorry.
oh no, that was really just that we've lost Star Wars and the Cats episode, which I'm very disappointed about.
And
I really want.
Gangsters didn't we lose as well?
Did we do a Geisters one?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Irishman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was just The Irishman. It's always just titled as The Irishman, and I don't think I was
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
it was the Irishman and Gangster. Yeah, it was the Irishman.
Yeah, so I didn't know like the whole theme was gangsters. I thought this was like one of those
I always thought
like
it was called
Joker
the Irish
ones.
Men.
Irish, the Irishman.
I haven't seen it, but I thought
That's
it
the
was
James
called-
Cameron sequel.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, we'll leave it. We'll do a big Star Wars episode. I think we should. I think we're hoping to move towards as well as these live streams, like focused ones, and maybe doing a direct film discussion about one film or a series of films and what we like and dislike and just sort of our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Just sort of give a bit more variety about it. And so that we don't run out of stuff to talk about by the time we do into the new year, to the new academic year. So yeah, stick around. I'm sure we'll do stuff soon. Devon, the Tyneside thing is still up and running, right?
Yeah, we're taking a bit of a break while exams are happening, but kind of
Yeah.
next week we'll start ramping up again. I think we're planning on doing another pub quiz, so stay tuned for that.
Cool. Kat, anything else? As
We've-
president?
Nothing super exciting. We've just got Fury on Monday that we're watching at 7 p.m. this coming Monday. And then we should have a bunch more like movies coming up. We're going to be doing Netflix parties all throughout June, as well as the ones we've been doing this time, rather than stopping while summer happens. So yeah, there's those to look forward to, and of course Devon's Tyneside thing. But yeah, that's it so far.
Cool. Yeah, so just enjoy. Don't forget to take breaks in your revision and studying and working. It's important. Listen to our old shows. They're all on either Mixcloud or YouTube. I'm slowly getting out the Ranking the Infinity Saga limited series I recorded a while ago with George here as well. So I'm hoping I do it like one a week and getting it out. So episode 2 just came out today.
Watch that if just for Jerry Guitar.
Yeah, there's more Jerry guitar in the new episode. So
I watched it. It's good.
Thanks. I actually ran out of the track and needed to start overlapping the track because the rants just went on for too long. I'm not great at Premiere Pro yet, so the audio transitions a little bit, but I'll get there. Bear with me because it takes a lot of time to look this cheap. So yeah, enjoy, and the Courier, we're always writing more articles, so watch out for them. And I'll keep you up to date with some discussion and whatnot. So yeah, right.
See you. Bye.
Cheerio.
Bye.